Hello everyone, my name is Abby Karabakarn, and today we're going to talk about something I think everyone should know about by now with the introduction of Disney Plus as a streaming platform, Marvel's superhero shows. Many of you are aware of the comic corporation owned by Disney named Marvel. Marvel makes superhero movies based on the Marvel comics and created the MCU or Marvel Cinematic Universe. Movies like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America are all Marvel movies. Today, I want to talk about the show Loki on Disney Plus and how Loki's character changes through the show because of the science fictional aspects of the show. Loki, the main character, realizes that the character he was made to be is not who he actually wants to be, and through meeting several versions of himself, he changes his heart and finds compassion for a world he was created to be against. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Loki is the mythical god of mischief, whose brother is Thor, the god of thunder. He's a frost giant who was adopted by Odin, the god of war and death. All of Loki's life, he has betrayed his family and his brother and caused serious problems in the universe, most of which his brother had to clean up. The story writers decided to do a show instead of a movie about Loki because of the layers of personality Loki seems to have. Time and time again, he shows that all he knows is betrayal and occasional backstabbing, but here and there, we can see that he has sympathy for others and wishes he isn't the way that he is after his mom dies and after he watches his own death.
I don't enjoy hurting people. I don't enjoy it.
In the show, there's a sacred timeline that the timekeepers keep in order, and the people who create events that make the timeline branch or a nexus event are called variants. There are many variants of Loki, and the main character of this show is the variant Loki from the Thor franchise. The workers at the TVA headquarters know how Loki behaves and knows not to fall into his tricks, but he genuinely wants to help the TVA, or the Time Variance Authority, track down another variant Loki that is on the run. He's doing fine until he meets the variant Loki face to face, and instead of catching her and bringing her to the TVA like he promised, he ran away with her to another apocalyptic event to hide. Typical Loki, right? Okay, can we also talk about the fact that this is like complete narcissism? I mean, this dude is falling in love with himself. Literally a variant of himself. That's so weird. But I guess that's Loki. At this point in the show, he has demonstrated how he wanted to be the good guy and finally do something to change his course of deceit, but once again, he failed and stabbed Mobius in the back. As the show goes on, the two Lokis highly distrust each other because of their personalities, but the main character Loki starts to grow emotional for the female Loki. He starts to open up to her even though she continues to have the same personality as the old main character Loki. She contributes to him opening up as a sympathetic character, but he is still mostly the god of mischief that he always was. But if anyone's making Loki go crazy, it's Mobius. Loki really liked Mobius. He formed a bond with him and saw him as a brother, even though he treats his actual brother like shit. So when Mobius was pruned, he was so upset and he cried for him. Loki and Sylvie, the girl Loki, end up getting pruned too and sent to a realm where essentially everything gets eaten by a huge monster. That's where the other Loki variants that have been pruned are found. Mobius is also there and they reunite in a happy manner. Loki shows that he can have compassion for someone and not want to betray them for his own personal gain. Notice how it took a lot of pruning and time traveling for Loki to figure out who he really wants to be. It took other versions of himself to realize that his personality sucks, and that's not who he wants to be. In science fiction, the use of a completely estranged reality, one that lies outside the concept of time, is crucial in Loki's realization of self. If there was no time travel, no branches in the timeline, and no variants, Loki would not have developed into a new version of himself whatsoever. It's these science fictional aspects of the show that drive the plot forward. Loki started off as exactly his character description, the god of mischief. He would only cause trouble through deception, betrayal, and lies. In all the Thor movies, his character never changes, but we do see bits and pieces of the character Loki wants to become. In the show, Loki builds off those bits and pieces of the character changing. They use the science fiction convention of time travel to help Loki show him who he has been through a third person's view. At the end of the show, Loki sees that he doesn't have to be deceitful and selfish, but he can be in favor of those that are not him. He can be selfless. As we know, this is just the first season of Loki. We are awaiting a second season, and while the plot thickens and drives forward, we also know what the people's expectations for that second season are. For example, people were saying how much they really liked the season 1 and they had expectations for the season 2 to maybe be longer, have more character development, not only within this Loki but within the other Lokis as well. My personal opinion of this show is I think it was great. I really liked how Loki started off being, the familiar Loki, but as the show went on, we kind of peek into what he was really feeling. It's kind of relieving just seeing him able to form a connection with people without trying to backstab. All in all, Loki's character development had a lot to do with the other characters that were alongside him in the show, as well as the science fictional aspects of it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I hope that this spoke to a lot of you about the character of Loki in the show off of Disney Plus. Bye!